Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Leadership Conversation. My name is Florian, and I'm so delighted to be with you again this morning. And today I have a wonderful guest with me, Lars-Christian Brask. Welcome, Lars-Christian.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
It is my pleasure. I know you're a busy man. You do a lot of things. It's very difficult for me to give you a proper introduction in this short time here. But you are an entrepreneur yourself. You're an author. You sit on boards of directors. Probably the most prestigious board of directors you sit is actually the board of directors of Denmark, right? Because you are chairman of one of the vice chairman of the board in the Danish parliament. So you do so many things, and then you add value in so many ways. Give us a bit of introduction of who Lars-Christian is that is not on your CV, that is not on LinkedIn, something that maybe people would be curious to know about you.
Well, I'm educated in business, in finance and banking, but my career started in the music industry, where I was a band manager and tour manager for bands. So that's probably something most people don't know. For a long period, I was the only Dane that has been a manager in Formula One, the pinnacle of motorsports. And I've been chairman of 2 football clubs. So I guess that's something that is outside of the straight business, the core business CV.
Yeah, wow. We didn't know that. And thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure you learned some things there that you apply later on in your career, in your entrepreneurial career. But I would be curious to understand what would be some of the things that you've been through in your career that shaped your view on leadership.
I think when I was young and starting out, I was sort of watching what my leaders were doing, how they were doing it, how they were handling people, how they were handling situations that needed attention, and learning from that. So very much a matter of watching, learning from experienced leaders. That has helped me a lot in my career, and also from an early start understanding that end of the day it's results that brings your career forward.
Wow. You probably also step into maybe some less great leaders, let's say. What were some things that when you're watching those people, you saw that, oh, that's something I shouldn't do?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right, because I've also had leaders where I said, okay, when one day I become leader, that is certainly not the way I'm going to act and behave. So it's the ability to observe and learn both good and bad, and then only take with you what you think, what you have experienced as something that works, something that motivates people, something that drives results, and the things you've seen from your perspective that doesn't work, make sure you don't copy that and bring that into your leadership.
Yeah, so it sounds like these role models play a role into your view of leadership. And you mentioned something that at the end of the day, you need to bring results.
Correct. When you are in the executive leadership, i.e. the guys that run the company on a day-to-day basis, then you report to the board, and the board, they've been put in place by the owners to make sure that they coach and guide and drive the executives to deliver the results. So results, the goals you put up, the vision you put up, the strategy you put in place to reach goals and vision, that's sort of end of the day the results you measure on, and you are measured on as a leader.
So this comes with the accountability, I presume, right? So you as the leader, at the end of the day, you're accountable to the owners, right, to the board. And I know you have a strong view on accountability. What role do you think accountability plays today in leadership?
Yeah, I think it should be, the highest. You've been given a mandate. You're looking after a team that works for you. You're looking after economic results for the owners. You're looking after that the company's brand or the organization's brand is protected and taken good care of. So that's the accountability. And even in politics, I'm also engaged, as you said in the intro. It's other people's money that you have the responsibility and the accountability for. So it's central in understanding what your role is when you are a leader. You are accountable for the mandates that you've been given, i.e. Executing the vision or the strategy or reaching the goals.
That's so good. I that's my view as well. What would be then some things that leaders do wrongly, like when they misunderstand this accountability?
Some of the mistakes I've seen is that the people that are leaders, they have a bigger interest in their own career than in the organization's, call it career, but the results of the organization. And the organization is also all the people that on a day-to-day basis drive the organization towards the common goals. So when you have individuals that are more concerned about their own career than the benefits for the organization and the people in the organization, that's when I get most disappointed. And I've always, in my own career, had those two examples I have from bad leadership on that account, had that in mind, and being very focused on making sure that the people are the right, they know what they're going to do. We have agreed on what their mandate and tasks are. It's clearly spelled out so that their colleagues know it. And we are there to get the organization to perform and deliver to what the owners have of wishes for this organization.
We are in Denmark, Sweden. Part of my business is in Sweden. I'm now currently in Denmark. You are born in Roskilde. That's where you are. There is a need for consensus or for group decision making in the Nordics, and that sometimes, in my perception, could be contradicting. Taking accountability, because if the team is responsible, then the team is accountable. So it's difficult to hold someone accountable for a group decision. How do you see that? Do you see this Nordic culture, running a bit away from accountability, or is just my perception coming from being an international in Denmark and Sweden?
Good question. Good, and that there's several ways to approach your question. But I was actually born in Sweden, but after 6 years came to Roskilde and have grown up in Roskilde, and I was away 15 years in the UK and the US, but have returned to Roskilde. I'm also chairman of Nordic Council via my role in the parliament. So I work with the Swedes, the Finns, the Norwegians, etc. On a regular basis, if not daily basis. I understand or feel I understand the cultures. But bottom line is one will always be the ultimate responsible for the goals, the decisions, the implementation of the decisions, and that's the leader. And it could be a leader of a division, it could be a leader of a subsidiary, it could be a leader of a smaller team, but the leadership role is to get the team to perform, to get the team to move towards success in achieving the goals that have been set up for either the department, the division, the subsidiary, or the whole organization. So at some point, the leader will have to take decisions, and a good leader will have, will know where his team is and will know, can they achieve the goals? Is it realistic, or people going to go down with stress, or is it unrealistic to put up some goals? That's the leader's responsibility, and you have leaders at several levels, and I'm talking about leaders managing people, driving people, motivating people, guiding people, coaching people to perform. So we're not talking managers here that are sort of more operational. I'm talking about inspiring the group that you are in charge of making perform. So there is a difference the way you do it in the different countries. I hear you allude to that. But the bottom line, we're all driven by achieving the best for our organization, or hopefully we're all driven to achieve the best for our organization with the best possible team of people.
Yeah, it sounds like your view is very much shaped by your experience as an entrepreneur, and that's very much true in most public and private companies, right? Because at the end of the day, you solve a problem or you add value to a client or to someone, and that's what you have to do to deliver on that. And my question was more like, probably I see that it's easy to escape accountability in the Nordics compared to maybe other countries, where if we made a decision together, then you probably know this. You know the story of the Vasa ship, that sank just outside of the Stockholm port, and then the story is that no one actually got punished for that, or no one got really any consequences for that, because it was like the designer or the architect passed away before the ship was actually built, and then the king went, honored with the construction, and then they want to, punish someone, bring me the responsible, and they answer, well, but the architect is dead, and you gave the order. So then it kind of just fade away. It's an anecdote, right? But what I'm saying is that I can clearly see a pattern in everything you share, that you take responsibility for your own results. And when you take something, you actually go, all in, and you're very serious. And sometimes I think even not only managers, but even leaders, sometimes they don't really fully take that responsibility. And I just want to, bring out to the surface, because I think that's a trait that we need in leaders today. And I, congratulate you for doing that. I was saying it might be easy for people to escape responsibility if they don't want to take it.
Yeah, but then they're not leaders. If you don't take responsibility, if you don't act with accountability, then bottom line, you're not a leader. And the accountability is also that you're responsible for a team. You're responsible for the performance of the team. And you're responsible for the well-being of your team and the ability for the team to perform. So accountability is, if not the highest, high on the agenda, high on how you operate as a leader. And, sometimes you have more consensus on a decision, but at the end of the day, there is one in front of a team, the leader, and the leader has the responsibility and the accountability. And that's regardless of Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Faroe Islands, Greenland, whatever. In the Nordic, when you're a leader, it's your responsibility. You are the one accountable for the goals that have been set out and the performance of your team and the well-being of your team.
I fully agree with you. And I think where some of the teams that I work with and what I see get wrong is that they want everyone to agree with the decision. And that's very difficult to get, full agreement from everyone in the team. But there is a principle called disagree and commit. So meaning we have now the debate time, okay? So everyone can give their own opinions and we can discuss this. But once we made a decision and the leader has made a decision, now everyone should be on board with that.
Absolutely. You cannot work for an organization if you don't buy in to the ethics of the organization, the vision of the organization, the products, the services that the organization produces or sell. So driving that organization to the best of its ability, it requires that you as an employee, fully accepts how the company is and what the company wants. Otherwise, you should find another job.
I completely agree with you. And sometimes it's easier to say than to do because that's why are people unsatisfied with their jobs, right? If we look at job satisfactions, we will see some numbers that we are surprised. Why would someone be in a job that they don't like? Because for you and I, it doesn't make sense at all. Why would you want to do that?
No, I agree. Totally agree.
Yeah.
One advice to those kind of people is as fast as you can find a new job, because the job you have is such a big part of your daily life. And if you don't buy into the vision, if you don't buy into the goals, if you don't buy into the way the team and the organization operates, you should work for somebody else, because you cannot, as an employee, create value if you don't buy into the bigger goals for the organization and the behavior of the organization.
Absolutely. That's sound advice. Let's look a bit of how, because you have a lot of experience in the private sector and you are in the parliament, you're involved in commissions and you sit on boards. What are some things that you see we could take from the private sector or from your entrepreneurial experience and actually would be valuable for communities and for organizations to become more thriving and prosperous? What would be some of the things that you take from the public sector that you think will be applying from the private sector that will be applying the public sector as well?
In the private sector, you do your research, you have your pros and cons, and then you execute. And you go for the goals. It's different in politics because you have so many different views and the ways of looking at how society should be built. So it takes longer. And for politics, it's actually good because it touches everybody in the country or in the community where you take political decisions. So it's in politics, you could probably take listening to other people's views, listening to where they come from, try to understand why they have that opinion or those views that you could actually sometimes benefit from in the public. So none of them, neither the private nor the
public, or
public and the politics, neither of them are perfect, but the drive to achieve results is easier in business than in politics, But sometimes in business, you risk taking quick decisions because you haven't listened to everybody that probably sits and deal with issues on a daily basis. And that's also a fault of a leader. If you don't listen to the people out in the front that experience either your product or your service on a day-to-day basis, your clients, what is it your clients want to have changed? In politics, your clients is the voters. And that's clear that if you have one way of seeing how society should be built, then there's some other ones that don't like the way you want the society to look. So in that case, you can't get everybody on board, but you can still listen, and you can still learn from listening to other people's view and opinions. And that's the good things about politics, that you could bring more into business, and from business to politics, you could be faster in driving decisions through.
It sounds like listening to people and making sure that you're actually serving the people that you're supposed to be serving. It's an important part in both of these. And it sounds like it's even more important in politics, because you're really a servant leader, because you're really serving the community or the voters that you represent. While in business, you may be just, building a solution, a product, a service that solves a problem, but you might not really be in a service environment, right? So it's really a bit of a mindset shift between, the entrepreneurial part and the private sector we talk about, servant leadership, right? That's a term that now it's popular and everyone talks about servant leaders. But in politics, that's actually what you do. You serve people, right?
Yes. But, I have grown up in sales to start with. So when you're in sales, you have to think about clients. What is the client's need? How can I serve the client's needs? In politics, you can't call the voters clients, but in effect, that's what they are. What are their wishes? How can I, without being populistic, because you gotta have your, in business, you gotta have the product. In politics, you gotta have the ideology. And your political platform and your values, etc. But if I don't have customers, people that vote for me, then I'm finished in politics. So I sort of think about it the whole time that I'm servicing clients like I have done in the commercial life. No business exists if it doesn't have clients, if it doesn't serve the clients. If you have a product or a service but nobody wants it, same in politics. If you have a viewpoint or a direction you want to take the society and nobody wants it, then there's no clients, then there's no business, then there's no political career. So I think, again, we as leaders, we have to be very clear on what is it, what purpose does it have, what we do for the end user, for the clients. And that's, of course, why you have product development. That's why you listen to the people that are out in front of the clients. That's why you listen to the clients. In politics, because it's relatively divided, you listen to the clients, but you still have to have in mind what is our values, what is our goals. And that's why you can't get 100% market share in politics. That's just how it is. It's very seldom you have 100% market share in business, but you can still have a higher market share than you have in politics, unless it's in the US or the UK where you have so few parties.
Yeah. But that's a very sound view of looking at politics in terms of, as a private business. And I think, again, what you were just sharing there, is that if you look at them as clients, then you have that mindset to serve them, and the ideology is more like the values of a company. So when someone chooses to buy a car, they choose a brand based on what they think, the brand represents. So I think we can actually use that parallel also when it comes to ideology. Like I will buy a car over another car because that car makes me feel in a certain way, because I like the way they treat people, I will like the way they look at the environment or whatever it's important to me. So it's almost like no different, right? If you want to get a market share in a certain kind of pool of voters, right? It's similar. If they connect with your philosophy, with your ideology, with your core values, then they would buy into you.
Correct. It's like any decision by an individual. Do I trust the brand? Will the brand deliver what is good for me? So I totally agree with that.
Perfect. I think we're almost at the top of the time, and I want to respect your time. What are you excited right now about? Something that you're working on or something that comes up? What are you excited about right now?
Well, right now I have 4 days left of campaigning for the local election in the Roskilde, where I live, and where I'm actually also on the city council. We have an election where people will vote on Tuesday. So I'm in the middle of that, and I'm the leader locally of the party and mayor candidate. So that's an important thing. But I have quite a few things that I need to achieve with the Nordic Council and the foreign policy, etc. So I've got so much exciting things to look forward to. Business-wise, I have a few businesses that are growing nicely and that I gotta make sure perform, where I sit on the board or chairman. So I have plenty of things to look forward to.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us and for sharing the time. My personal experience with you and being an ambassador for the city of Roskilde, it's absolutely great. I shared this story when I visited we met a few years ago. I think it's 5-6 years ago. We just connected on LinkedIn, then we met one time in Copenhagen, and I just let you know I'm going to visit the city with my wife, and you took us on a private tour. We are now VIPs, no politicians, no one, but you've done it for us. And that speaks a lot about you, your values, that you value people, about you wanting to add value to us, and then wanting to attract talent, right? And attract, individuals, skilled individuals to the city. And I think you were like the best guide we could have ever wished for Roskilde. So thank you so much for taking the time. And I'm sure you'll do a great job for the city. Do you have any kind of closing message for leaders today? What would be like one, if there's something you want to leave with them, what would that be?
Make sure you know where you're going. Make sure you have the best team, keep the team happy to walk towards those goals and achieve the successes together.
Thank you so much. Make sure you know where you're going, and make sure you keep the team happy. I think those are really good things, and the combination, it's actually what most of us need today. So thank you so much, Lars-Christian, for taking the time, especially in the middle of your election campaign. And I'm sure you're a busy man right now. You're busy anyway, but today you're probably more busy than usual. So thank you so much for taking the time. This has been so useful, and you're sharing a lot of your experience and knowledge.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for listening.
My pleasure. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. See you next time.